The sheer volume of information we face daily, it can feel like trying to drink from a fire hose, right?
Absolutely.
It's just,
Overwhelming.
yeah, and often it leaves us feeling more confused than actually informed.
Hmm.
So today we're diving into something pretty fascinating, a new tool that promises to cut through all that noise.
Okay.
Think of it like a central command hub almost for global news, designed to give you genuine clarity and fast.
The command hub, I like that.
Yeah. We're exploring Stylo news, and our mission really in this deep dive is to understand how it might radically reshape how we access and process critical global intelligence.
Sounds intriguing.
So what immediately grabbed me about Stylo news was its whole approach. It challenges the usual news app model right from the start.
So.
With this incredible live globe, it's not just some static image.
Right.
It's dynamic, it pulses, kind of represents global events with these glowing points popping up in real time wherever a big story is breaking.
Okay. So visualizing the news geographically.
Exactly. It really redefines what seeing the news could mean.
And what's really transformative about a visual like that, it isn't just that it looks cool, though I imagine it does.
It does.
It's how it potentially shifts your mental model,
Yeah.
of global events.
Okay, explain that a bit.
Well, instead of just a feed of disconnected headlines, you're getting immediate spatial context for everything.
Right, you see where it's happening relative to everything else.
Precisely. You can literally pan across this globe, zoom into areas, tap on those glowing points to get the stories from, say, specific cities or regions.
So it moves beyond just scrolling.
Yeah, it moves beyond passive consumption. It's almost an active, even tactile engagement with the pulse of the planet. It lets you instantly grasp the geographical spread, the density of what's happening globally.
Exactly. It feels like you're not just reading about the world, you're sort of interacting with its nervous system.
That's a good way to put it.
But, okay, beyond that really compelling visual, what actually makes this a profound shift in terms of accessing information?
Well, if we look a bit deeper, the core value proposition here is that Stylo News functions as this comprehensive global intelligence dashboard.
Okay, intelligence dashboard. What does that mean in practice?
It means it's not just scraping headlines. It's aggregating information from, lots of different places. It's cross-referencing it and then presenting it in a structured, actionable format.
Actionable how?
It gives you these really concise, clean summaries of often complex stories. But it goes further. It clearly identifies all the key players, the entities involved in an event.
Ah, so you know who is involved, not just what happened.
Exactly. That allows you to quickly grasp the full picture, almost like how a dedicated intelligence analyst would operate, cutting through the fluff to the essential facts and connections.
And what's particularly, groundbreaking about that level of analysis, something that really seems to set it apart, is its ability to assess potential bias in the coverage.
Ah, yes, the bias question.
How does that actually work? Because, let's face it, navigating the sheer volume of information out there with the critical eye, especially thinking about neutrality, that's a huge challenge for anyone.
It really is. And this raises an important point about media literacy, about informed consumption. Stylo News's approach here seems quite sophisticated.
Okay.
It doesn't just, slap a label on a source. It seems to leverage analytical models, analyzing sources against a spectrum of known journalistic leanings.
So comparing it to established patterns.
Yeah, and it can even apparently flag specific linguistic patterns or framing within articles that might signal a particular slant.
Wow.
The insight here is how this empowers you, the user, not just to filter news, but to actively deconstruct the information.
Deconstructor.
Yeah, fostering a truly critical engagement with global events by basically providing this transparency layer over the news itself.
So it's not telling you what to think.
No.
But giving you the tools to think critically about how the information is presented, that feels like a significant leap.
I think so.
And it gets even more tailored, right? Because it's not just filtering general topics like politics or disasters. You can actually build your own custom reports.
That's right.
So imagine setting up a dynamic report on, Middle East conflict or maybe cyber threats in Europe. What does that actually mean for the user day to day?
Well, this is where the power of machine learning, the AI, really comes into play.
Okay.
The AI then takes over. And it's not just doing simple keyword matching. It's using advanced natural language processing to understand the context, the evolution of stories within those custom reports you've built.
So it understands the nuances.
That's the idea. It means it could potentially identify subtle shifts in a narrative, maybe new connections between events, or emerging players you might have missed just scrolling a traditional feed.
Right, things that get lost in the noise.
Exactly. It effectively creates a personalized, continuously updated intelligence brief on the topics that are critical to you without drowning you in irrelevant data.
That sounds incredibly powerful, especially for anyone who genuinely needs to stay informed at a deep level. But are there any potential pitfalls here? Relying so heavily on AI to curate your information stream, does Stylo News account for that risk?
That's an important consideration, definitely. While AI offers this unparalleled efficiency in synthesizing data, the human element, that critical review, it remains paramount.
So it's a tool, not a replacement for thinking.
Precisely. The design intent here really appears to be augmenting human intelligence, not replacing it. It provides the distilled information, the summaries, the connections, but the final judgment, the contextual interpretation, that still rests with the user.
Okay, that makes sense.
And you can see this tool is clearly designed for those who need the precise, distilled information where time is often critical.
Like who, specifically?
Well, think about geopolitical analysts, international travelers needing real-time updates, maybe even government officials. This isn't really aimed at casual browsing.
No, it sounds more serious.
It's about providing that genuine clarity quickly, which seems to be a benefit particularly highlighted within their executive plan
Yeah.
that apparently offers even deeper analytical capabilities and more real-time updates.
Got it. So tiered access for different needs.
Seems so.
Okay, let's pull back for a second then. We've talked about the globe, the summaries, the bias analysis, the custom reports. So what does this all mean for us, as informed citizens trying to make sense of the world? If information access and analysis can become this precise, this personalized, and this visually immediate, how might that fundamentally change your understanding of complex global events?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. And maybe even more importantly, what new responsibilities might that place on us? When we have this kind of nuanced power to discern information, not just consume it, literally at our fingertips.